So I wasn't planning on working on the project this weekend. I was going to wait until next weekend when I had all the colours and the top coat and everything bought and ready to put on. Although I was just messing around in the garage today and I realised that the frame has actually flash rusted. Nothing major, it's just because I've left it a week or two after sending it back to bare metal. I did clean it with isopropyl and I did put WD-40 on the frame to try and protect it, but it's still flash rusted a little bit through the frame. And the plan for this episode is tear down, cold set the frame so it'll take a wider wheel, finish prepping the frame, sand it all down and stuff, and yeah, get some and paint it fully. Hopefully by the end of this video the whole frame will be fully painted. I've decided a design decision as well that I'm going to keep all the components chrome, so I'm keeping the headset chrome, the forks chrome, the stem chrome, the seat post chrome. I'm going to go for a brown leather seat and a brown bar tape. I'm going to have a black handlebars and black shifters obviously, and black running gear, so the back section, but I'm also going to keep the chrome crank. I've got I like that crank. The chrome's really nice on it. It looks like it's brand new, to be honest. So, and with the holes drilled in it, it's just a really cool looking crank. So I'm going to keep that crank, keep the bottom bracket. I'll probably service the bottom bracket in this episode as well. I'll put some fresh grease in and rebuild it. I did do a little bit more measuring too, and I don't think I'm going to be able to fit 40s on there. It's probably going to end up being 38. I reckon it's going to be the widest I can fit. I could fit 40s, but as soon as you go over a bump, it's going to start scraping. So I'd rather 38s with some decent tread on them. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the video. So, as you can see, the frame's flash rusted, so I'm going to have to sand this down again. That's because I sanded it last week. I put WD-40 on it to try and protect it, but it's just rusted through it. It's not structural rust yet, so I can just get some primer on here because I found some primer in one of the tubs. I didn't realise I had it, otherwise I would have done it last time, but you know. I've got the crank puller. All it does is screw in, tighten the bolt behind it, and it pushes through, and then it pushes the crank off rather than having to smash it with a hammer. This is now screwed in, threaded in. This screws in and pushes on the square taper to force the crank off backwards. There you go. Man, look at that. That's awesome. I really want to keep this crank. Good tool. Temu, $3. It's going, but sweet. That's the bottom bracket, and it's not a sealed unit. It's just going to be a cup with bearings inside. So I'm going to see how it looks, and I might rebuild this or get a sealed unit, but we'll see. It grinds and spins horribly. So I'm thinking instead of rebuilding this, we'll have a look. If it's all rusted and pitted, then there's no point rebuilding it, but if it's half decent, then I'll just rebuild it, polish it and put some new grease in, but with the feel of it, it just doesn't feel good. Oh, it's turning. Hopefully it's anti-clockwise. There we go. I think the whole cup's moving. Oh, I had to take that off first. That makes sense. I'm probably doing this the most awkward way. There's definitely a better way to do this. That's not stupid if it works. Just taking note which side's longer. It's usually the drive side, but I just wanted to make sure. Just lay this down without losing any of the bearings. Yeah, that's gross. I get that out without dropping the bearings down the hollow tubes. If you drop those bearings down there, then they're going to be in there forever. But probably 100-year-old grease. To be honest, it doesn't actually look too bad. There's your spindle. That horrible piece I was unscrewing. Oops. And there's your bearing. And there's that cap that I didn't realise had to come off first. Anyway, I actually bought some nitrile gloves for this and then forgot to wear them anyway. What put them on now? So I'm hoping this pipe wrench will go wide enough to crank it. I'm pretty sure this will be clockwise. Moved a little bit. See. So I've left that for about 5 minutes now. Just gonna give that another crank. Oh, I was expecting it to pop. Surprisingly good. Weirdly good. Anyway, cold set the rear dropouts to 130mm, and I'll probably do that first actually, and then yeah, get some primer on it. I thought I'd clean up this bottom bracket stuff and just have a look, because if these cups are rusted and pitted, I'll just get a sealed unit. But I think because I've decided to keep some of the original chrome parts, I want to use the original bottom bracket. So this is a degreaser, but look, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little bit of grease on them, but other than that, they were all good. Okay, so upon further inspection, I could rebuild this. However, the bottom bracket's not designed to run without cages, so I'd have to buy new cage bearings. But also, the spindle's actually quite pitted and quite rusty. I could get the surface rust off, but I don't know how long it's sat like that, so there's just no point in rebuilding around a rusted spindle. So I'm just going to buy a sealed unit, save myself the headache. So these dropouts are actually already bent. This sat at, call it 125 mils, and there needs to be 130. So I need to gain kind of 5 mils of clearance. I've got the wheel over there to test it. However, it definitely needs moving. So all I use is just a piece of steel rod, some bolts. Usually I would use some washers, but I can't find any, so. So all this does basically is we tighten the inside bolts a little bit at a time on each side to get to the spread that we want, and then we use the outside bolts to just lock it in and hold it there for a little bit. You kind of need to overstretch by a few mils anyway, because steel is quite elasticy, so I'm actually going to crank this side up way more because it's already quite bent. So right, let's just give that a measure. So right now we're at 13.5. Yeah, so 135 mil probably. 134 mil. It's probably about right, to be honest. I'm just gonna crank this side a little bit more, just because that side was actually actively bent, and it still is. So I'd like to do more on this side than this side. I'm just gonna leave it like that for a little bit. I don't know how long you need to leave it for. While that's setting, I'm just gonna go over everything with my scuff sandpaper again, take the rust off, and I'm gonna be priming it very shortly, so I'm not leaving it with no primer on it again, because I'll just rust up, and as soon as that rust gets pitted, there's just no point. If this has worked, green hands. It's a lot easier to work on without a crank stuck on it. Now it's sprung back a lot. Nah, I must be doing something wrong. I guess I gotta go further, because it did spring back quite a lot. I've probably gained 1 millimeter. Okay, I'll be honest, I thought that was going to be a lot easier than what it was. Finally got it in. The problem with this was that it was bending the arms from up here, the frame from up here, when I needed the dropouts to actually twist instead of coming out. So I did have to use some brute force to kind of, I used the pipe wrench to just turn the dropouts manually. It took a lot of adjustments and stuff, but I finally got it spinning in the middle. But yeah, I was adjusting it, and I got the dropouts perfectly apart, but the wheel was so close just down here that I would have never got my gravel tires on, and plus it meant the wheel was running like this. So we're in the middle now at least, and this is actually a 700C wheel. It's just a spare one I've got, and it fits perfect, so happy with that. And looking at it again, I definitely think I can fit 38s on here. This is a 23, so that was a lot of effort. Tired now. Also, I did that offline because I don't think anyone needed to see that. So I made some more adjustments again. Wasn't happy with how straight it was. Now I've got it perfect. I won't get it any straighter than that. Just micro adjustments with the pliers to straighten out those. So now I'm going to try and get some etch primer on the frame. Got to set up a bit of the spray booth and see how that goes.
Couldn't bother getting it out. There you go.
Just gonna give it a quick clean with isopropyl alcohol. just to make sure there's no other bits or filings or anything on it. And then hopefully I've got enough primer to do, you know, at least 1 coat or 2 coats ideally. There's not much in that. Tiny bit left in the can. I've like unintentionally made it a green screen. I'm a bit confused because the inside of this lid's bright purple. So I'm hoping that it's not purple. I must have used a nozzle or something before. So that was it for the etch primer. I've run out, but I've done just enough to cover the frame to stop it from rusting. And then when I buy some more, I'll deal to a couple of these, you know, rough bits that need sanding, a bit more sanding. It's not rust, it's just where the paint's flaked from the previous paint job. Hopefully next week I can get it painted with colour and gloss, and then the painting will be done. Right, so I didn't want to take a trip to Bunnings, but I did. Got another can of primer, just touched up those bits that I noticed, smoothed them over a little bit. There's quite a few actually that I didn't get, so now I'm pretty confident to just hit it with a primer, and it'll be good until next week when I get the colour. Different colour. Whoa, fell over. So we got the primer all on the frame now. I'm just going to give it a quick sand with 400 grit just to knock the smoothness off and get any bits of fluff out of it. It went on pretty smooth, to be honest. I did have to sand a few extra bits and touch bits up. I found a little bit of rust creeping through on this bar here. So I had to take all that back off again, and then I found a few bumpy bits that needed a quick touch up too. So yeah, we'll just quickly knock the shine off it and then set the rig back up and paint it green.
That's really thick, it's so annoying.
This is the paint we're going for. Just some flat army green. So I've got all my colour on now. It's sat pretty smooth. There's a few bits where you can see like the rough paint underneath. I probably didn't do as good a job of sanding as I should have done, but that's alright. It's going to be wrecked after I use it on gravel anyway, so I'm going to slap it with 3 coats of clear coat and it should be done. I'll paint it anyway. Okay, now. Alright. This will be the last coat of clear coat, and then I'll let it set and I'll show you the finished product.